If you're only using the thirds grid on your camera for rule of thirds compositions, you might be missing a few tricks. These crisscrossing lines can help you out in a number of practical ways. Most, if not every, camera or phone has an option to turn the grid on. It'll be in the settings somewhere called composition grid or thirds grid, something like that. With every camera I get, I turn the grid on and I never turn it off again. It's indispensable, and here's why. If you've got a landscape picture, for example, and it seems off, but you can't quite put your finger on it, it could be that your horizon isn't level. If it's slightly off, it's disconcerting for the viewer. You might want that, but you might not. And I figure you either make it squiff on purpose or you make it level to begin with using the grid as a guide. It's even easier if you position the horizon exactly to one of the horizontal grid lines, but you don't have to, and we'll talk about that later. This works for any subject with a horizontal element that you'd like to keep horizontal. Similarly, we can use the grid to keep vertical lines vertical. When we take pictures of architecture or a painting, we can avoid perspective keystoning by using the thirds grid as a guide. That's when the parallel sides look like they're pointing towards each other in the photograph. To avoid it, we can reposition the camera so that all sides are parallel to the grid lines in the viewfinder. We could correct this perspective distortion in post-production, but that generally reduces image quality because we're stretching and we're squeezing a bunch of pixels, and we've got to crop off the gaps and the distorted edges of the frame. The next tip is simple, and I use it all the time. We can use the box in the middle of the grid to center our subject. Just like with a horizon, if something's slightly off center, that's unsettling. So we can make it perfectly centered unless we purposefully choose not to. Centering gives the subject a sense of importance and a sense of dominance. Conversely, we can use the outer boxes of the grid to place our subject on the edge of the frame, where they'll feel more vulnerable, like they're almost being left out of the picture. That leaves a massive amount of negative space on the other side, which can be used compositionally or if you need to add design elements or text to the picture later on. Funnily enough, if you place the subject in between the centre and the edge positions, it's now in the rule of thirds position. It's neither strong nor weak. It's more neutral, less provocative, and it gives the subject room to breathe or share the stage with a secondary subject. People, especially photographers, are expecting it just like we expect verse, chorus, bridge chorus in pop music on the radio. I think the rule of thirds is simply the default avoidance of either a strong central positioning or an intentional edge positioning, rather than a compositional rule in itself. I'm in the frame of mind that we should pick compositional rules to honour our pictures rather than make pictures to satisfy some arbitrary rules. If your subject's best served by using the rule of thirds, then that's great. But you don't want to use the rule of thirds to position your subject if it doesn't honour the intention of the photograph. There's been a flurry of new subscribers to this channel recently, and if you're one of them, thank you. You keep this channel going, and I really appreciate you. If you found more ways to use your camera's grid to make your life easier than what we've shown here, let us know in the comments below, and we'll keep this discussion rolling.